Welcome to Timoteo TV Update, serving all of Timoteo fans home and all over the world. Bringing you up to the minute news and expert commentary with Nate Martin, Buddy Martinez, and Chris Lauer. Together, Timoteo TV Update.
Welcome back to another edition of Timoteo TV. Breaking down week 2. Week 1 we had some great games. It was an exciting week, and I'm sure week 2 will be just as good, if not better. So real quick, last week we had some a panel of experts with us, and they did pretty well, but not quite got it perfect. Buddy went 4-2 last week, and Chris went 5-1. But before we bring them in to defend themselves and to give their predictions for week 2, I did want to bring up the power rankings that we have, which these are also on the website, explains how it breaks down and so on. But number 1 on the power rankings, Ravens. We are number 1 right now with 48 points scored and only 7 points allowed. So congratulations to the Ravens. Next, week 2, we have the Redskins with scoring 45 points and only allowing 14. Then the Cards at 3rd with 39 points scored, 12 allowed. Colts, 40 scored, 33 allowed. Packers are 5th, 28 points scored, 27 allowed. Raiders, 18 points scored, 15 allowed. And it's going to keep running them down here. 49ers coming in next. Then Vikings, then Broncos, Panthers, Eagles, and then Jets with 7 points scored, 48 allowed. So make sure you check that out. We have more detail. One thing I wanted to point out about these power rankings, though, 3 of the top 4 teams are from the Justice League. So Justice League was getting a lot of flack at the beginning of the year, but coming out strong. Like I said, they got 3 in the top 4. However, to kind of balance it out, 3 of the 4 bottom teams are also from the Justice League. So they're kind of this division of have and have-nots, it seems like. They got 3 powerhouses and then 3 bottom teams. So those 3 bottom teams, at least coming out right now, are pretty poor if the Justice League isn't as good as we've been saying. So the middle of the pack, though, Peace is pretty heavy, and they're saying that they'll be up at the top pretty soon. So that's kind of how things are broken down. We'll bring in our panel of experts here in just a moment, right after these messages. Welcome back to Timoteo TV. I'm your host, Nate Martin, here with the experts, Buddy Martinez and Chris Lauer, coming back. And so, well, guys, let's get into it here. Last week, you guys were both pretty successful, but this week, trying to look to improve on your picks, go a perfect 6-0. So first, we're going to start off with our divisions. We have the Justice Division, our 3:30 game. We got the Panthers, who are 0-1 against the Ravens, 1-0. So, Chris, who do you like in that first game?
First, let me just clarify something real quick. I'm hearing a lot of things on TV. I'm hearing a lot of things in the league. This is called the Justice League. Now, this is the Justice Division. The Justice League is a bunch of cartoon characters, if I'm not mistaken. True. Well, maybe we should call them the Justice League, because they're all a bunch of characters. Anyway, I'm going. Last week, I was 5-1. I missed 1 pick, and it was the shocker pick of the week. I said the Broncos are going to win, and they would have won if they would have shown up. They had 6 players that showed up, and it was absolutely embarrassing. Well, I'm going to start this week again with another shocker pick of the week, right? And I'm picking the Panthers, who are 11th in offense, 9th in defense, to upset the Ravens, who are right now number 1 in the power rankings, number 1 in the offense, and number 1 in the defense. But there's a couple factors here that go into this game. One, the Ravens, I want to call this the Jets factor. You play the Jets, look, I could put a bunch of grannies together and have an all-granny team go against the Jets and look good, right, after last week. I mean, they went backwards more than they went forward, right? The Panthers, on the other hand, they have what's called the Cardinal factor. I mean, the Cardinals, last time I said they look like the Packers with red jerseys, they look more like an NFL team out there, right, against that division in the Justice League, right? So I'm picking this week the Panthers will win. If they show up. If they have more than 6 players, they will win 25-19. If they don't show up, the 6 players, I reverse that score, and I think the Ravens will win 25-19.
25-19.
25-19. Panthers will win if they show up with more than 6 players. All right, my shocker of the week. Panthers, you're on your way up. They could be the second best team in the Justice Division.
Buddy, what do you think about this upset pick? Do you agree?
Well, I don't know what Chris had in his coffee this morning, but he obviously didn't watch the game. The Panthers are still they're still learning. They're still struggling out there. I think there's uncertainty still at the quarterback position. Jose and Justin tried to rally their team against the Cardinals, but they were just too much for them. So I still think they got a lot to learn. The Ravens, on the other hand, I feel are a powerhouse. I think John is the biggest quarterback in the league by far, and he threw 6 touchdowns. And I don't think that was any kind of fluke, jet factor, whatever you want to call it. You play against who you play against. That's what the schedule says. And so I believe that the Ravens will just walk all over the Panthers, and I got them winning 32-18.
Wow. All right. So we definitely have some difference of opinions on the first 3:30 game there. Let's go to our 5 o'clock game in the Justice Division. Colts, who are 1-0, coming off that win against the Broncos, and the Cardinals coming off a big win against the Panthers. So who do you like in this one, Chris?
All right, another no-brainer, right? This is the only matchup this week where we have 2 undefeated teams going at each other head-to-head, right? You have the Cardinals, who are 4th in offense and 2nd in defense, and you have the Colts, who are 3rd in offense and 8th in defense, going head-to-head at each other. Now, you would think this would be the game of the week, but it's not. And this is a shocker. This is why. Because the Colts almost lost a game when they played against a rookie team that only started with 6 players. They almost fell apart. And like I said, I think the card factor, I think the cards are going to show the Colts what being in Timoteo is all about this week. Right? So I'm nailing it right now. I'm calling this the massacre of the week. Right? Cards are going to win this game 40. Colts are going to have 18 points if they're lucky.
Wow. What do you think about this, buddy? Will it be this kind of blowout also?
I can't disagree with Chris here. I mean, the Cardinals quarterback, Bam, he has an amazing arm. I mean, I've seen this kid just chuck it, almost the whole length of the field anytime he wants it. So the Colts, I don't think they have any answer for it at all. They did pretty well grabbing flags, but you can't grab flags in the end zones. Those are touchdowns. Yep. So I got the Cardinals. I think they're the real deal. I got the Cardinals blowing out the Colts 45-12.
So both agree that the Cardinals are going to be a blowout there. I do agree with Bam's strength of arm. Sometimes he maybe puts a little too much on it, though, and it makes it a little tough for his receivers. But yeah, he's got a great arm for sure.
No doubt.
So going to our last game in the Justice Division, we have the Broncos and Jets, the 2 new teams. Both lost their first week game going against each other. They played each other in the scrimmage. Broncos, I believe, came out on top on that. But, Chris, what do you think is going to happen this week?
All right, the key stat here this week versus the Broncos and Jets is the Broncos are 10th in defense, right? The Jets are 12th in defense. This is the most 2 pathetic defenses I've ever seen in my life. I mean, I'm watching the defense standing there, right? You attack the guy running with the ball. These guys backpedal, and they try to grab with one hand at a time, and they look like they're scared, right? These guys, look, you're not playing tackle football anymore. You got to... This practice this week, I'm going to tell you, both teams do nothing but grab flags, right? Nothing. Grab flags, so the only thing you're doing at night when you're sleeping is dreaming about grabbing flags, because if you don't, you're going to continually lose week after week after week after week. Now, the good thing for the Broncos is I think they're only going to need 6 players this week to beat the Jets. And so I think they're going to have no problem. The Jets factor is going to be in play here again. And I think the Broncos are going to beat the Jets 37-12.
37-12.
Yep.
Wow. All right. What do you think, buddy?
Well, watching the Broncos game last week, they had a little problem with the time when the game started. Their actual good players didn't come till halftime, I believe. But when they showed up, they put on a heck of a show and making a great comeback. You had Simone, who had 10 catches, 2 touchdowns. Now, if he gets to come on time, what time is the game? 6:30? Mm-hmm. Yeah, tell him to be there at 5 so he can come on time. And I think they're just going to run all over the Jets. The Jets are still learning. I mean, they have a tough schedule early on. I mean, but they can kind of hang in together. I mean, maybe later on they can figure it out. But this week I have also a big blowout. I got the Broncos winning it 42-6.
All right. So both agree on that.
A lot of massacres.